creates cloning machine. Bruce Wayne is no ordinary man, and in Batman Volume 2, that genius reaches a nearly unfathomable level. Faced with the possibility of his own death, Bruce designs a cloning machine capable of producing a perfect copy of himself, ensuring that there would always be a Batman to protect Gotham. Each clone isn't just a body, it's programmed to inherit Bruce's memories, skills, and detective prowess. Living for 27 years before being replaced by a new iteration, it's the ultimate contingency plan, a testament to Bruce's foresight and paranoia combined with cutting-edge science. The machine plays a pivotal role in the New 52, Future's End, where a clone steps in to continue the Batman legacy as the original Bruce nears death. Later in Batman Volume 2, Bruce even uses the cloning process himself to restore his lost memories, reclaiming what makes him the Dark Knight. This isn't just a scientific marvel, it's a demonstration of Batman's relentless preparation and obsession with legacy, ensuring that even death can never truly stop him. Defeats the Justice League. It's one thing to fight crime in Gotham, but it's another thing entirely to take on the Justice League and win. Yet somehow Batman has done it more than once. One of the most striking examples comes from Batman Confidential Volume 1. The story takes place early in Bruce's career, long before he'd earned the League's trust. To them, he's not a hero, he's an unknown, a masked vigilante who's just broken into their secret headquarters. And that's when the unthinkable happens. The Justice League, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Aquaman move to take him down. But instead of retreating, Batman turns the tables, using nothing but his surroundings, strategy, and an understanding of his opponent's weaknesses. The Dark Knight systematically dismantles each member of the team. He blinds the Flash with a perfectly timed flashbang, manipulates Green Lantern into trapping himself, and uses his environment to outmaneuver Wonder Woman. Even Superman finds himself caught off guard by Bruce's tactics, kryptonite contingencies, and sheer unpredictability. By the end of it, the League isn't facing a criminal. They're staring at a strategist so precise, so prepared, that he makes the world's most powerful beings look like amateurs. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Years later, in JLA Tower of Babel, Batman's contingency plans, created in case any of his teammates ever went rogue, were stolen and used against the Justice League, proving that he spent years preparing ways to neutralize every single member. To Batman, it's not arrogance, it's insurance. Because if gods walk the earth, someone has to have a plan to stop them. The world calls him paranoid. But the Justice League, they call him necessary, endures the Thogel ritual. In Batman Volume 1, Bruce Wayne pushes the limits of human mind and body in a way few could survive. The Thogel ritual, an extreme meditation practice derived from Tibetan tradition. Thogel is no ordinary meditation. For 49 days, the practitioner simulates their own death repeatedly, experiencing demise and rebirth over and over. It's a test of endurance, mental fortitude, and absolute fearlessness. Batman isolated himself in a cave for 7 full weeks, facing the ritual head-on. Each day, he endured simulated death, training his mind to eradicate fear completely. Why go through this? To prepare for enemies like Dr. Hurt, whose mastery of psychological warfare targets Batman's very mind. After surviving Thogel, Batman emerged mentally invincible, ready to face foes who strike at the psyche, not just the body. Anticipates Dr. Hurt's plot. Among Batman's rogues, few strike as deeply and disturbingly as Dr. Simon Hurt, a man who wages war not against Gotham, but against Bruce Wayne's very mind. A supposed psychiatrist and later the leader of the Twisted Black Glove and its cultic sect, the Black Hand, Dr. Hurt's brilliance lies in manipulation. He doesn't seek to kill Batman, he seeks to erase the man beneath the mask. Years before his master plan, Hurt subjected Bruce to a gauntlet of psychological experiments under the guise of therapy, isolation chambers, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, secretly implanting commands and distortions meant to shatter his sense of self. When his scheme finally unfolds, Hurt strikes with surgical precision. Bruce is rendered unconscious, buried alive, and forced to relive fragments of trauma and delusion. It should have broken him. But Batman had already planned for the unthinkable. He had mentally mapped countermeasures into his own psyche, a fail-safe personality construct built to reassert control even if his consciousness was compromised. Clawing his way from his coffin, Bruce rises from the earth like a myth reborn. He dismantles the Black Hand, exposes Hurt's machinations, and reclaims his identity with the clarity of a man who has outthought madness itself. Dr. Hurt's genius lay in believing he could outmaneuver the mind of Batman. But Bruce Wayne's willpower, sharpened through trauma, honed by discipline, proves indomitable. Masters 127 fighting styles. Before Bruce Wayne ever donned the cape and cowl, he dedicated his entire life to the pursuit of human perfection, physically, mentally, and spiritually. He traveled across the globe for over a decade, learning from the greatest masters of every known discipline. From the hidden monasteries of the Himalayas to the streets of Bangkok and the dojos of Japan, Bruce studied under warriors, assassins, and monks alike, mastering not just combat, but philosophy and adaptability. By the time he became Batman, Bruce wasn't just a martial artist. He was the ultimate martial artist. In Batgirl, Volume 1, Number 7, Bruce casually reveals that he's compiled an instructional CD containing lessons in 127 different martial arts, each one mastered and analyzed to the point he can teach it himself. This isn't just hyperbole. In Detective Comics, Volume 1, Number 411, the narrator explicitly states that Batman has mastered all fighting arts, from Krav Maga to ninjutsu, boxing to capoeira, silat to Muay Thai. Bruce doesn't just know them, he combines them seamlessly, creating his own unique hybrid style known as Bat Fu. What makes this feat even more impressive is the logistics. To truly master a single martial art can take decades, yet Bruce achieved mastery in over 100 within roughly 10 years. His photographic memory, discipline, and inhuman willpower allowed him to absorb techniques at an unprecedented rate, making him arguably the most complete fighter in fiction. Resurrects Martian Manhunter. Before his fiery demise in Final Crisis and later rebirth in Brightest Day, Martian Manhunter had already faced death once before, and it was Batman who brought him back. In JLA, Paradise Lost, the Justice League joins forces with the angelic hero Zoriel to prevent a demonic invasion led by the Hell-Lord Neron. The battle is cosmic in scale, celestial beings, divine power, and the League caught in the crossfire. During the chaos, Martian Manhunter is struck down and seemingly perishes, his body lifeless in the aftermath of Neron's assault. But Batman, as always, refuses to accept defeat or death. Analyzing the situation in seconds, he realizes there's still a chance. Using the kinetic energy generated by the Flash, Batman devises an improvised high-frequency electrical surge, essentially creating a makeshift defibrillator capable of reigniting John's alien physiology. And against all odds, it works. Martian Manhunter's body stirs, flames dissipate, and within moments, he's alive again. Pulled back from the brink through sheer ingenuity and willpower, no Lazarus Pit, no divine magic, just science, speed, and Batman's mind working faster than any supercomputer. Recreates the Lazarus Pit. In Year 1, Batman/Ra's al Ghul, Batman takes on a feat most humans couldn't even comprehend. Recreating the Lazarus Pit, the mystical, life-restoring pool usually controlled by Ra's al Ghul. After traveling the world to destroy existing Lazarus Pits, ensuring Ra's could never exploit them, Batman discovered something astonishing. The planet itself required the pit's balance to maintain life undeterred. He replicates the Lazarus Pit in his own Batcave, carefully mixing the rare chemicals and mystical elements needed to bring it to life. This isn't simple chemistry. It's a blend of advanced science, arcane knowledge, and unmatched precision. By recreating the pit, Batman not only shows his intellectual genius, but also boldly dares Ra's al Ghul to attempt to claim it. It's proof that his mind is as deadly as any weapon, capable of controlling forces that even immortal villains struggle to master. Endures a beating from Reverse Flash. Batman has faced countless foes, but few attacks are as punishing as a direct confrontation with Reverse Flash. In Batman Volume 3, the speedster suddenly appears in the Batcave while Bruce investigates the mysterious Watchman button. In an instant, Reverse Flash unleashes a relentless barrage of punches, striking countless times over the course of an entire minute. For any ordinary human, even a highly trained fighter, Enduring one punch from someone that fast would be catastrophic. But Batman absorbs the assault, his body and mind holding together under blows that could shatter bones or knock out the unprepared. What makes this feat even more astonishing is that Batman manages to strike back, landing precise blows on an opponent moving faster than the eye can track. It's a testament to his extraordinary reflexes, conditioning, and combat skill, combined with an unbreakable will to survive and fight back against seemingly insurmountable odds. Takes out his entire rogues gallery. In Shadow of the Bat Volume 1, Batman faces a scenario few could survive, trapped inside Arkham Asylum, the very prison he's fought to contain his enemies, and confronted by the full force of his rogues gallery at once. Joker, Scarecrow, Two-Face, Riddler, Mad Hatter, Poison Ivy, and countless others swarm the Dark Knight, each bringing their own lethal skills, devious traps, and deadly gadgets. It's a nightmare designed to break him mentally and physically. Most heroes would be overwhelmed within seconds. But Bruce Wayne thrives under pressure. Every motion is precise, every attack is calculated. Using a combination of master-level martial arts, strategic genius, and an encyclopedic knowledge of his enemy's abilities and weaknesses, he turns the tide against overwhelming odds. Bruce doesn't just fight, he choreographs chaos, moving like a predator through a storm of foes, turning their attacks against them. By the time the dust settles, the Bat stands alone. His costume is torn, but his resolve is unbroken. Every villain has been neutralized. This is more than a fight, it's a masterclass in tactical supremacy. It shows why, in Gotham and beyond, no number of foes, no level of chaos can ever truly defeat Batman. Defeats evil versions of himself. In Dark Knight's Metal, Batman faces a threat unlike any other, evil versions of himself from across the multiverse. The most terrifying is the Batman who laughs, the Batman of Earth 22, infected with Joker toxin. This nightmarish hybrid combines Batman's tactical genius with Joker's sadistic cruelty, and he has already destroyed the heroes of his own world, leaving devastation in his wake. Later, he joins forces with the Dark God Barbatos in a multiversal invasion. Despite facing a mirror of himself who is faster, stronger, and more ruthless than any opponent Bruce has ever encountered, Batman refuses to rely on brute force alone. He studies his Jokerized counterpart carefully, recognizing the arrogance and predictability inherent in someone who is both Batman and Joker. While the Batman who laughs assumes Bruce will act alone, Batman shocks him by forming an alliance with his arch-nemesis, the Joker, introducing chaos and unpredictability the mirror Batman cannot anticipate. As the battle unfolds, the Joker distracts and wounds the Batman who laughs, leaving an opening for Bruce. Using his unparalleled strategic mind and deep understanding of his own strengths and weaknesses, Batman exploits the villain's overconfidence, forcing him into a situation he cannot control. In the end, the Batman who laughs is neutralized, and the multiversal threat is temporarily averted. This is more than a fight. It's a clash of intellects and wills. Batman defeats a version of himself who had already destroyed entire worlds of heroes, proving once again that his genius, foresight, and unbreakable will are his deadliest weapons. Takes down Darkseid. The Dark Knight has gone up against Darkseid on several occasions, miraculously finding a way to make himself useful against the new god. Each time the most famous instance happened in Final Crisis number 6. Batman made a special exception to his no-gun rule and loaded a radian bullet into a gun before confronting Darkseid, the only substance capable of harming a god. Standing face-to-face with the Lord of Apocalypse, Batman declared, "Gotcha," and fired. The bullet struck true, fatally wounding Darkseid, but not before Darkseid unleashed his ultimate weapon, the Omega Sanction. Most beings hit by Darkseid's Omega beams are vaporized instantly, their atoms erased from existence. But the Omega Sanction, also known as the death that is life, is far worse. Instead of killing the victim, it traps their soul in endless cycles of alternate lives, each one more torturous than the last. When the beam hit Batman, everyone believed he was dead. Superman even cradled what looked like Bruce's charred remains. Yet the truth was far stranger. The Omega Sanction didn't kill him. It displaced him through time, flinging Batman's consciousness and body all the way back to the prehistoric past. In Batman, The Return of Bruce Wayne, We learn that the Dark Knight began a perilous journey forward through history, from caveman to witch hunter to pirate and beyond, each life threatening to erase his memories and identity, but Batman's willpower and intellect proved stronger than Darkseid's curse. He outsmarted the Omega Effect itself, clawing his way through time and ultimately returning to the present day, alive, evolved, and more unbreakable than ever. Defeats Superman. Among all of Batman's impossible feats, one stands above the rest: the day the Dark Knight defeated the Man of Steel. In The Dark Knight Returns Volume 1, an older, battle-scarred Bruce Wayne comes out of retirement for one final war on crime. But this time, the threat isn't a supervillain, it's Superman himself. Now a government enforcer under US orders, the Man of Steel is sent to bring Batman down. Knowing he can't overpower a god, Bruce does what he's always done best: plan, prepare, and execute. He draws Superman to Crime Alley, the same place his parents died, transforming it into a symbolic and tactical battleground. Hidden traps, sonic disruptors, and high-voltage ambushes strike first, wearing Superman down step by step. Then comes Batman's ace, Green Arrow, who launches a kryptonite-tipped arrow that pierces through the chaos and weakens the last son of Krypton. Donning a mechanized armor suit designed to multiply his strength, Bruce goes hand-to-hand with Superman and actually gains the upper hand. Every punch lands like thunder. Every move is fueled by decades of rage, discipline, and defiance. By the time it's over, Superman is brought to his knees by a man with no powers. And then, with his heart failing, Bruce grabs Superman by the collar and delivers one of the most iconic lines in comic book history. "I want you to remember, Clark, in all your years to come, in all your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you." Moments later, Bruce collapses, but not before proving that a mortal man, armed only with intellect and will, could humble a god. Even Superman himself would later admit it. In later stories, Clark reflects that Bruce could have killed him that night if he truly wanted to, a thought that haunted him for years. It wasn't just a fight, it was a statement, a reminder that, in a world of gods and monsters, Batman remains the ultimate equalizer. If you enjoyed exploring the Dark Knight's most impossible feats, hit the like button, and subscribe if you want more Fiction Explained videos.